And we're recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pineapples and French Fries Creative Summit. This is the first one. My name is Solomon Dudley, and I'm so excited that you all are here today. This is, of course, a replay, and just so excited to have the opportunity to organize and to host a weekend full of creativity and individuals who are rocking it in their game. At some point, I want to say it was December of last year, and I was just kind of writing down what I wanted to do and like what the next steps were for me creatively. And I landed on like 10 ideas, and this came up, and I was like, okay, let's do it. And as time went on, probably within the next couple months after that, I want to say around February, that's when I started to put this together and organize. And here we are. So, super glad to kick this off with the one and only Shannon Renee to do our keynote. So excited. We met on a TV set when I want to say this was maybe about 3 months ago. And I was in her makeup chair. We hit it off. She, of course, was so gracious to come onto the Pineapples and French Fries podcast. And I was like, hey, let's do the Creative Summit as well. So I loved the chat that we had on both the summit and in the makeup chair. Shannon is no stranger to entertainment, and she's no stranger to rolling with the punches and also doing it with a glam and some brush and some makeup. So, super glad to have the one and only Shannon Renee here with us tonight. I will turn it over to Shannon.
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. And he is correct. We did meet on a TV show, and we spent a lot of time in the makeup chair together. And we had more than makeup as usual. I have conversations about life, and then we had a great connection. So I'll introduce myself. I am Shannon Renee. I'm a professional makeup artist, and I've been working in film for over 25 years. Actually, I think this is like my 28th year officially in TV and film, but it's my 33rd year of being a makeup artist all together. So I've been doing this a really, really, really long time. But the part that gets paid is the 28 years. I want to start off with a question for everybody, because the theme of tonight is start where you're at. And my question is, how many people are waiting to start because they don't think that they're ready? No matter where you are in your life, if there's a creative something that you want to do, a lot of times people give you a little bit of pushback for it because, they're like, you may not feel like you're ready, or they don't feel like you're ready, or they don't feel like you're financially, or you may not feel like you're financially in the place to be able to like take the leap and move forward in whatever your creative endeavor is. And I'm saying, start today, start where you're at. Do not question all the things that everybody else is saying. There are going to be some limitations. There are going to be some challenges. And that's in anything that you do. But if you pick what you do and you love what you do because you picked it, then you'll never work a day in your life. It's a model that my father told me years and years and years ago, and I have lived by it, and it's 100% true. So a little bit more about me. I had a non-traditional upbringing. I was brought up over top of a funeral home. My father was a funeral director. My mother was a school teacher. And so as a part of my chores, I had to dress the bodies. I had to do the flowers. I had to do the makeup. And that was a part of my chores. Now, I also have regular chores. Like I had to like wash dishes and do laundry and make up my bed. But in addition to that, I had the funeral home chores. And back in the day when I was growing up, kids used to get allowance. An allowance would be like $5, would be like a lot of money for a kid. And I got paid $20 a week because I had to do both house chores and funeral chores, which was the business that we had. And I wanted my $20. I didn't think that it was weird. I didn't think it was strange that I lived over top of a funeral home because I've lived there the majority of my life. So I didn't know anything different. And then God has jokes because my birthday is the day before Halloween. So, let's double bubble it. But I learned how to do like special effects makeup, not even knowing I knew how to do special effects makeup because my father would like recreate people's faces if there were like tragedies that happened within the funeral. And I also had a really, really great idea or a great understanding of like color, because when you die, you become a different color. And one thing that people say a whole lot when they ever go to a funeral is, oh, they look like themselves or they didn't look like themselves. And I remember hearing that as a kid and it's sticking out to me. And my dad would be like, okay, well, you want to make sure that the color looks like they're alive. You don't want somebody to look like they're dead, although they're dead. So we would mix all these things together and I would mix them all together. So I learned color and color correction and how to do a lot of things before I even know it was a thing that I wanted to do. But I didn't want to be a makeup artist. No, 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 no. I wanted to be an actress. And that's what I put my path on to do. Now, through high school, I did makeup all through high school because there was a television station in my high school and I was on the television show every single day. I did the news. And I was like, if this is a real television show, we would do makeup. And like, so makeup was always a part of my brain. And I ended up doing makeup for everybody that was there. But I was also pursuing acting and doing professional acting while I was in high school and in plays and stuff like that in Philadelphia, where I grew up. And then I went to Howard University and I was an acting major and I had to take this makeup course. And in that course was very, very, very challenging. And because I already knew how to do makeup, or I thought I knew how to do makeup, I hadn't known how to do makeup to that well, the teacher had already heard that I had like a little bit of advancement when it came to makeup. So he really, really challenged me. And at the end of the class, I got a passion for makeup that I had more than I had for acting. And so I was like, I think I really want to be a makeup artist. Like, do they have a makeup major here? Or is there any other thing I could pursue? And he was like, well, nobody ever asked that. So he talked to someone and talked to someone and talked to someone. And over the next 3 years, me and him created, and the school created a preliminary curriculum. And they were like, if we get the accreditation, then, you will be the first person to graduate with a degree in makeup from Howard University, HBCU, and if not, then they just paid for all these classes for me for free. So we went through the whole rigmarole about it. And then about 4 days before graduation, I got a special meeting and they were like, congratulations, they got their accreditation and you'll be the first person to graduate with a degree in makeup application and design. I also got that acting degree at the same time. So I ended up getting a bachelor's degree in makeup. And that's the path that I ended up taking. I never looked back at the acting since I ended up getting the degree, but I didn't actually pursue it professionally. I also looked around the room and saw, hey, this was 1997 when I was a freshman. I graduated in 2001. And I looked around the room and I was like, there aren't a lot of people of color and specifically Black women that are working in film industry. And if everybody in my school is great and I'm good. I wasn't great, but I was good. And I'm going to be up against them. So if I'm working behind the set and they're working in front of the camera, now we have two people of color, two Black women on set or two Black people on set. And I was like, that's better numbers than it was before. So I knew there still was a place for me, regardless if I was in front of the camera or not. And I also knew that I loved film. I loved television. So if I wasn't going to pursue it in front of the camera, I wanted to make sure that I was in the world of it. So being in makeup, let me be in the world of it. And let me tell you how I made the right choice. Oh, I made the right choice. It's the best decision that I've ever made. And now, fast forward to 28 years, I have worked on countless television shows. I have worked on big major movies. I've worked on small movies. I've toured with people. I have done music videos. I have done all of the stuff that you can think of. But there was a journey to get there. I am the author of 2 makeup books. My first makeup book is Makeup is Just Colored Dirt, right here. There it is right there. And my second book, which will be out this fall, I'm going to show you the cover. The world hasn't even seen the cover yet. It's this cover right here. And it is The Pretty Department, the business of makeup for television and film. And so that will be out this year. And then in my particular journey as a makeup artist, my life ended up colliding and I was on set and I met this wonderful human being that I ended up falling in love with and I ended up marrying them. And she thought outside the box more than anybody else I knew of and dreamed bigger than I could dream. And she was like, I'm a director and a producer. And even though she wasn't a director and producer at that time, again, start where you're at. And she was like, I'm a director and a producer and I want to start a production company. And I think that you were like a really, really great person to do that with. And so we did. And then a few years ago, we started a production company called Have You Met Me Productions. And we have produced and distributed our first film called Dimes. It's a short film. And then we're in the process right now of doing a feature film. that we're in development for. So sometimes your life and your world expands bigger than you can expand. And you never know where your path is going to go. If I didn't start where I was at and believed in myself, then I wouldn't have even got to one, either be on movie sets, two, to even think that I would do makeup instead of acting, and three, now be an executive producer and work behind the camera and the capacity of producing and seeing how that works as well. And meeting somebody that saw that in me and trusted me and believed in me bigger than I can believe in myself in that capacity. So I had a non-traditional start. How do you go from a funeral home to a movie set? Well, let's take that journey as we go. So like I said, I graduated college. And one of the great things about when I went to school is I went to school at this magical time. And there were a lot of, well-known actors and well-known professionals in the television and film and theater industry that were my professors or my mentors. And they really, really guided me. And my first professional thing that I did in theater as a makeup artist was I was hired by Felicia Rashad, who happened to be my makeup teacher, not my makeup teacher. She happened to be my acting teacher at the specific time. And she knew that I was a makeup major in addition to an acting major. And she was like, I want you to come and do my makeup for the show and design the show for me. Mind you, I was like a young 19 years old. I didn't really know what I was doing, but she believed in me. And so from that experience, I was mentored by my makeup professor, Reggie Ray, who's no longer here. He ended up writing the foreword to my first book, and I assisted with him a lot. So I had a lot of things underneath my belt. So when I graduated, I was like, I have all these names on my resume. People are definitely going to hire me. And they didn't. They didn't know who I was. They knew who all these other people were, but they didn't know who I was because I was just assisting. And so I had to find a way to be able to get to movie sets. Well, how do I go from not even knowing that I wanted to be a makeup artist to now being a makeup artist on movies? This is where the path started. Okay. So I'm graduating. I'm working. I'm trying to figure out how to be able to do that. And a mentor at the time said, you are successful well, let me back up. He said, does makeup pay 100% of your bills? And I was like, no, at that time, it was maybe paying like 20% of my bills because I was doing some makeup things, but I wasn't doing a whole lot. And he was like, when makeup pays 100% of your bills, you're successful. Not winning awards, not, having the accolades that you think a lot of people have, not being printed, not having your name on all those kind of things. All those are pluses. But if makeup pays all of your bills, you're a success. And what I mean by that is from the gum that you buy, the gas that's in your car, the rent that you pay. If makeup or things that are makeup related pays for that, 100% of that, you're a success, because most artists want their art to pay for their life. And that really, really, really stuck with me. So I worked really, really, really hard to get makeup to pay all of my bills. And at one point I was in prom hell and wedding hell. Not necessarily hell. I just knew that I didn't want to do that forever. I just wanted to be able to build the reputation and get clients and do makeup and have makeup pay my bills. And that transitioned into me working into music videos. I was like, well, music videos is like film, right? So I was putting all that together. And I also knew I wanted to be in the Makeup Artists Union. And I had to have all these credits and had to be on film sets. And this is before the internet, before social media. You had to actually talk to real people. You had to network with real people. You had to go to the library. You had to know somebody that knows somebody. And I didn't know somebody that knew somebody. And I went to the library. There were no books on the thing. And I just had to talk and figure it out and move here and move there. Not literally move there, but move within my space that I was in to be able to figure out how do I get to the next step. And I was successful. Ended up meeting somebody that gave me more information. I got a phone number for me to be able to call the union. And that union sent me a big packet. And they were like, these are all the requirements you have to do. And then I put that checklist so I can make sure that I had all those requirements. And doing music videos and doing short films and student films, which was how I was building my career and how I was figuring stuff out. And I wasn't making a whole lot of money. At the time, I think a student film for 3 days, I maybe got paid $200, all right, maybe $150. And most people weren't even getting paid that much, but I was so happy to be there. And it was a learning experience. And everybody was kind of in the same boat. And after me doing that for a while, I ended up being the veteran on set more than, especially if it was student film, than some of the other crew members, because I had been doing it a while. And so I had built enough reputation, I had built enough credits to be able to apply for the union. And then I got into the union when I was 25 years old, and I was the youngest person at the time to be in the union and 20 years, the youngest person. And I also had a dream of when I wanted to be an actress, is that I wanted to be one of the first women of color to win an Academy Award in acting. Because at that time, Halle Berry had not won yet, who is actually still the only Black woman to win an Academy Award for Best Actress in a film, which is 20 years ago, which is, a conversation within itself. But when I pivoted to makeup, I was like, well, I still want the same dream. I just wanted to be in the makeup department and not in the leading actress department. And that dream hasn't happened yet. I'm getting closer and closer to it, but it hasn't happened yet. And unfortunately, there still isn't a person of color, male or female, that has won an Academy Award in makeup. This year, we got really, really close. We got really, really close for Sinners. Sinners did end up getting nominated for hair and makeup, and if they would have won, it would have been a person of color, majority of people of color for the hair department, and majority of people of color for the makeup department. So it really would have been history in the making. But we're getting closer and closer and closer. But hair has won. Makeup just hasn't won. Hair won for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. They won in 2020. But I digress. So I'm in the prom world. Now I've gotten to the union. And here's the thing about getting into the union as a makeup artist. You worked your way up, and now you're bottom of the totem pole. So now I have to network within that network. But that didn't stop me, okay? All right. I was like, all right, this is a new challenge. This is a new thing that I need to do. So I stepped up to the position. And I was like, all right, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to, talk to this person and talk to this person. I'm going to physically make phone calls, because they would give you a phone list of phone numbers, of actual book of contacts, and you would reach out to them and say, hi, my name is Shannon. I'm available. Again, this is before social media. This is before the internet. This is before text messages. This is when the call sheet used to actually, a call sheet and call time. Somebody used to actually call you on the phone and say, hey, Shannon, your call time tomorrow is this time, and you have to be at this location, and they would tell you the directions to how to get there. Yes, technology has made things so much easier in certain ways as well. And you would have to wait till the end of the night, and at the end of the night, they would physically give you a paper call sheet so that you would know where you were at the next day. Sometimes you would have to wait around for their call sheet, unlike now where they send you an email. Sometimes you're waiting up late at night for that email as well. So that kind of hadn't shifted in a way. So I was the youngest person to be in the union. And I also, like I said, I'm a person of color. And if you're a person of color, and you're a woman in general, but just a person of color in the film industry, there just aren't a lot of us. Over the last few years, it has gotten much better, of diversity and that kind of stuff. They had clauses that they added, and now, with the new political climate that we're in, some of that is still a thing, some of it isn't a thing, some of it was taken away as well. So being a woman of color also adds a little bit more challenging to it, because you don't see a lot of people in my position. There aren't a lot of people that are department heads. And I wanted to be a department head, and I wanted to be a key. And that's what I did. I worked my way to be able to say, hey, I can do that position. And I started in this position, and I'm qualified for this particular thing, and give me a chance. But I also, took other positions as well, because I wanted to work in this industry. So don't think that, hey, this is where I'm at and this is where I want to go, and I don't see the light ever coming to that tunnel. The light is coming to that tunnel. You just have to stay in the tunnel. And if everybody else around you, as your outside people or have outside noise, let them go. You have to see the dream bigger than anybody else can dream it and see it. And you have to be blindly focused and know that, hey, I'm going to make money from this. I'm going to be able to pay my bills, and I'm going to be happy in it. Yes, you're going to make some choices that you're like, maybe I shouldn't have made that choice at the time. That means you're doing the right thing. Yes, you're going to look around and you're going to be like, hey, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bill or not pay my bill, or they're not paying me enough for that. Weigh out those things. That means you're making the right choices. You're going in the right places. All right. And see if you can find some other peers that have been where you're at and can guide you in that particular way, or in the same journey as you're on. So therefore you can, help each other, artists help artists, recommend other jobs for them, or just have a sounding board to say, hey, nobody gets this. Like, you understand, like, what is that about? I didn't really have a lot of that in my career. I kind of still don't have that. From time to time, I'm still looking for that particular person or those particular avenues. I have had people that have helped me. I have had people that have trusted me. I have had, other artists that believed in me or saw those things. So I'm not saying that that didn't exist, but I had far and in between. But that didn't stop me and still hasn't stopped me from, still on that path to be able to, win an Academy Award in the makeup department. And now that I have a production company, you never know, I might win an Academy Award for executive producers. So I'll still get one on that stage. Okay. The world and the universe is guiding me in multiple ways, in multiple directions. And just like any artist, there is no linear pattern. This isn't like, medicine where you have go to school, and then you go to medical school, then you have a residency, and then you pick the field that you want to be in, and then you practice in that field, and then you become a master in that field, or you have so many years of experience in it, or you do the same to be a teacher, or you do the same to be a lawyer, or certain traditional paths that, like, at the end of that path, you're going to be that thing. And it's just one way to it. If you're an artist, there is no one way. And that's what makes it great. I do not want you to think that that's not what makes it great. That's what makes it great. That is not one way. But it also makes it frustrating. And frustrating is normal. Frustrating is healthy. Stopping and not believing where you're at and not believing where you're going, that's the thing that should give you pause, right? And if you need to pivot, but know that the focus is coming back to that, that's totally okay. And if you decide that you've done this for 10 years, you've done it for 20 years, you've done it for 8 years, and it no longer brings you joy, and it no longer, helps you get up in the morning with a little pep in your step, that's okay. You can say, hey, I've done that, and you can move from there. That is totally all right as well. Because you know what? You have the experience. You've done it. You have the story. When I was younger, I used to sometimes hear people say, I was a police officer for 20 years. I was a teacher for 20 years. But when you met them, they were in a completely different career, and they had been in that career for like 10 or 20 years. And I was like, how could you have done this whole thing, this whole career for 10 or 20 years? And now you're in a completely different career. It was mind blowing to me. Now, on the 50 side of 40, I understand that. Like I said, this is my 28th year in this career, and I still love it. I still get up every day and it brings me joy. I'm still so happy about it. But if tomorrow ended up being my last day of doing this in my career, or my last day as a makeup artist for television and film, and I transitioned solely to just being an executive producer and solely to producing films as well, I know that I was successful. Makeup paid all those bills, and I was happy to do it. I have the stories, I have scars, not the literal scars. I have the experience, I have the photos, I have all of these things that are tangible and non-tangible that I can hold on to, that were yummy, 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 and the chef's kiss. But I'm not at the end of my journey. I'm not at the end of my career. I'm probably just in like the wiggly middle of it. And I have so much more to go. And you have so much more to go. So believe in yourself, trust yourself, get people around you that, see what you see, and try not to have people that, aren't champions for you, have that voice or have those narratives. Stay long, like they're going to be there, but have it come in one ear and out the other ear. Know that you have something that nobody else can see, and you're uniquely you. There is nobody else like you. You are one of one. I am one on one, and I want to have you on my set with you. I want to experience the things with you, and I want to connect you with somebody else that's going to do the thing that you're going to do. And you never know where those are going to go. You want your name to be in rooms that you don't know they're in. How do you get your names in rooms that you don't know them in? Your personality, your work ethic, your show upness, your willing to pivot, your yourself in general. Being an artist in general is unique. All right. And so a lot of times, not only does your talent get you into the room, your personality keeps you in the room, and your work ethic keeps you working. So you want a combination of all those things. And again, the universe needs your magic, and you are magical. So I hope to see you on set one day, or whatever that the creative aspect is that you want to pursue in life. And I am championing for you, and I am rooting for you. And I hope that you're rooting for me too when you see me on that Academy Award stage in whatever category the universe decides that I'm going to get one in. And hopefully I get to see your magic in the universe as well. Thank you so much for having me. I hope that, I do actually get to see you in the real world, hopefully on one of the sets that I'm working on, rather me being in the makeup trailer or the makeup world, or even me hiring you and having you a part of my production company as well. And that's how I met Solomon. And we end up having now fostering a wonderful relationship. And I've been on his podcast, and now I'm on the summit. And so you never know what opportunities are going to show up in your lap, and you never know what people have in mind, because he's put me in my name in rooms that I didn't know that they were going to be in, and I've done the same for him. So hope to see you soon.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Shannon,
You're
for
welcome.
this time. I'm going to do a quick plug before we head off. Let me just plug her site. Okay, cool. If you can see this, this is Shannon's site, and it has everything you need to know to get in contact with her. It has the magic, the little magic makeup brushes, everything, the bio, everything, all the glitz, glamour, the names. Yes. And
Yes.
then scroll down the pretty department, the business of makeup for television and film, available for pre order. So head over to
Nora.
shannonrenee.com. Nora Ray. shannonnoraray.com. Yes. And that's how we can get in contact with Shannon. So, so proud, so, so happy. And that, my friends, was the opening keynote for the very, very first Pineapples and French Fries Creative Summit. I'm so proud that we could do this. We get to do this. We don't have to do this. We get to do this. And I'm going to sign off so we can get some rest and do this all over again tomorrow. But thank you so much for attending
Thank you
and
so much.
watching and listening. Sayonara, friends. Sayonara. Let me